Hi folks, I'm going to explain my swaging system for swaging powder coated bullets. You may think, why do you need them swaged? Just mold them and then powder coat them and use them. Or mold them, powder coat them, and run them through a sizing die and use them. Well, swaging makes them more precise, makes better bullets, more precise. So that's why I do it. And I'm going to show you some pieces here that I have. Here's some of the bullets that I've made. I'm going to show you how I make it. I've shown that in many videos. But I'm going to show you the tools that I have here. Have a Lee Classic cast press. This is the one without the quick change. This one you got to screw it in. It's been slightly modified. I changed this bolt. There was a bolt there you have to take the whole thing out, including drive the pins out to get it apart. And I put a bolt on here and made a spacer there. It's got a little bit of too much play in it, but that doesn't hurt anything as far as I can tell. That allows me to pull it apart real easy and get the ram out for cleaning and stuff. Okay, here are the other tools. Now, I'm going to get a little closer here. I don't know how close I can get, and this focus will stay. These are the bullets that have been made right here. I'll show you those with a close-up later. I'm going to go with a close-up lens with all this stuff. But I'm going to get you just familiarized with what we got here. This is an old mold. It's a 4560 mold from a 1873 Winchester, I believe, or 1876, and it was useless. It's all pitted up and everything, and I had it sitting thinking, well, it's an antique, it's got value, but it didn't have any value. So I bored it out and made a core mold for 4570. It's not good enough to make bullets, but it makes good cores. Okay, that's the core that comes out of there now, which is 317 when it's full. This is a reject because it didn't fill all the way. Makes 317 grain bullets. Now, the reason I have all this other stuff here is because I want to show you putting it together and how it works. First, I'm going to put the lens on the camera and show you this stuff close up. Alright, here we go. Bear with me a second here. Get this set up. And I'm not good at editing videos, so alright, these are some of the bullets that I swaged with this rig. This is comes from a commercial mold, a 405 grain mold. These are 415 grains. I don't know why, but you see that's a new hollow point I made. It's just enough to make a dent in it rather than making a big hollow point. And this mold, this is see which one's which here. Yeah, this one's 317 grains from this. I took this and powder coated it and swaged it into this. You can hardly tell there's powder coat on there, but there's a real good hard layer of powder coat on there. It's a combination of silver, I guess cardinal silver and translucent copper. And this one is harder cast lead, 300 grain. Is that the 300? Yeah, I think this is 300 grain hard cast. This is like 18 BHN, which the press squeezed up real easy. I mean, not real easy, but it certainly can handle 18 BHN lead. So those are the different sizes. Here is the swaging die. Put some light in there for you, maybe you can see. That's the swaging die. Now they don't come out quite as easy as I'd like, and the reason is probably if the diameter gets a little narrower, and I mean a half a thousandths, or even less than a half a thousandths. If the diameter gets a little narrower or it constricts on the way out, it'll cause that bullet to have a hard time coming out of there. The very nose isn't quite as polished. It doesn't need to be. But there's the inside, and this is the extraction pin. I was making them 2mm, but I went to, I think this is 3/16. No reason why you can't use a bigger one like that. And that fits in there. And this is what pokes out the bullet when you're done. Like that. Now, this is the ram. I put my initials in there, and like an idiot, I didn't realize when you reversed them. I thought, well, they're all straight lines, so it doesn't matter. They're not going to be funny looking. They're not. But when it's reversed, instead of HV, it's VH. So these swage in a little VH on the bottom of them. And by the way, you can see that's got a little bit of a convexness to it. I don't know why I do that. I just like not making things straight, I guess. And this is the ram. You can see it's a nice tight fit. That fits within, I mean, that's a tight fit. I'll put my thumb on there and show you. See that? Nice tight fit. So we don't have any flash problems with these guys. So now I'm going to, well, I'll show you this mold. I had to make the sprue plate for it. Then I modified the heck out of it, so I had to modify the sprue plate. And I thought, well, I'm going to have trouble with the sprue plate so thick. But it turned out to work really nice. I like that thick sprue plate. I'm going to make them thick like that on all my molds from now on. And there is the mold. And I find that these steel molds, steel is definitely the way to go as far as a mold material. I'm going to make all the dies, all my molds out of steel from now on. They hold heat really well. The bullets fall out real easy. They're easy to polish. You don't have to be so finicky about them like aluminum. And I wouldn't use bronze or brass because it's too expensive, or cast iron, which is a hassle. Just use regular mild steel. All my tools can cut that well anyway. So you may be able to see on here, there's still the remnants of where it says 4560 on there. Somewhere. There it is. 4560. These things came, this mold came with the model 1876 rifle when they bought it, new. So this mold is pre-1880, because the 4560 was They didn't bother making it anymore when they came out with the 1870, what was it, 86 model, because they could get 4570s, which was what everyone wanted. But can you imagine that? This mold was made in 1880, and I went and butchered it up. It was in bad shape. It was in bad shape. So anyway, and I wanted to show you this. This is a I forget what you call them. They're for making setup. They hold down stuff. Basically, it's a levered cam thing. And the reason I'm showing you this is because in the future, I am going to make a rig with something like this, only far heavier duty, to extract the bullets, with the longer lever on it. So I don't have to pound them out with a hammer. In the meantime, I do pound them out with a hammer. I have this hammer, which this is the Harbor Freight. It's got different rubber attachments, and I made a hard lead head for it. This is 18 BHN, high antimony or antimony content. You can see I'm beating the heck out of it. But it's easy to fix. I made this, I just molded it out of those, they call them votive candles. I molded a bolt in there, the right size, metric. Put some washers on it. And now I have a lead-headed hammer, which is really nice. It's the right weight. I think what I'd like to do is make a brass one for this side. So anyway, those are my tools and the stuff that I use. Now I'm going to take the magnifier off of there and back up to show me putting together the stuff for the press. First we screw in the die. Now those quick change ones, obviously, just 1.5 a twist and they're in. But you can see this is wiggly. That's probably because I beat the heck out of those threads in this. Pounding with a hammer. Sometimes I've pounded this really hard to get stuck ones out of there. And this is the die, the base punch that fits in the shell holder down there. And I'm going to get that. Just going to get that set to the right level here first. Let's see what size we got here. Alright, I'm going to put this size in there because that's about the size of the one I'm going to swage to show you how it works. Now I'm setting it. You got to have it set right so it bottoms out and you get some tension to apply it on that. Okay, now I'm going to show you just how much tension I'm putting on there by pushing on it. All right. Well, I should get even farther back here. Okay, this is how I'm going to put a little more tension on there. A little more. Uh-oh, I forgot to put the punch in. Phooey. You always got to put the punch in first. Now I'm going to have to poke it out with this side. And it's going to mar that bullet a little bit. I don't want to hit that with a steel hammer. See how I had to pound that pretty hard. It's a little harder with the... Now that dented that in a little bit more. We'll do it the right way for you. This goes in first. Now, I'll show you when I get that in. Now that's going to take up some more room, so this has got to come out a little bit. Alright, that's good. Now, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to put this locking collar on there. You notice it's awfully big for locking collar. Because it's not just a locking collar. Make that go in a little deeper. Oops. Alright. Now I got that where I want it. I'm just going to put some tension on here. Tight so it doesn't slip. And forgot to show you, but I have a little magnet here from a neodymium magnet from a computer hard drive. Put that on there. Keeps that from falling out after it extracts the bullet. Okay, so there we have a bullet in. I'm going to swage it. I don't have that quite deep enough, but that'll be alright. Now, the main reason I have this on here is because the extra threads on the die and the extra surface area on there takes some of the shock of pounding that extractor so it doesn't ruin threads. And these guys, I mean, you can squash them as many times. I can drop this and dent it and redo it and redo it. And just keep redoing them if you want once you got this thing. So basically, that's the setup. That's how it works. Now, I'm going to swage a raw bullet in there, raw lead that has no powder coat on it. And rather than taking a chance that it could get stuck, because those other ones are all powder coated, and I believe they come out a little easier than raw lead. I'm not 100% sure. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of sizing lube here. Now this is going to be overkill. You don't need much of this stuff. For those of you guys who've used it, you know. Just get it on your fingers and wipe it on there. There's plenty. But I'm going to get a good amount on there. And then nothing will get stuck. Now, I'm going to swage one, and we'll see how hard it is to get out that lead. I just want to show you how this works and how hard I have to push on it. I'm going to get you back farther. I'm sorry about this, folks. Alright, I want to do this to show you how much pressure it takes. Alright, I could do it a little bit harder. We'll see how it comes out. You saw how easy that came out. And it's good. I'm going to squeeze it a little bit harder. I'm going to put that in a little deeper. Once you get it set, you don't have to once you get it set, you don't have to readjust it. And I always set it a little extra deep. You can always not quite push it to the end. And you can tell how much pressure you're putting on it. So that's how much I put on there. And you see how hard it is to come out. Now, they were coming out harder, and I did surmise that it was because the bore of the die was constricting a little. And I made these dies without the benefit of a good close reamer, so I had to polish a lot. When you polish a lot, you can end up doing that. So anyway, I went and polished the entrance better, and now they come out easier. So that's how they work. I'll show you this one that I just did out of pure lead. You can see that. See, that's got no powder coat. They look better without powder coat, but you don't want to run them without powder coat because they will let up your barrel. There you go. And as far as I can tell, that's concentric. Everything's good. Very, very, very nicely formed bullet. Better than you can get with a mold.